it's a little bit, it's related to when we observe even a flower or an object. Normally we clutch it with our vision. It's a kind of we're identified with what we are looking at. And so we clutch it. As Mihai says, the gas, the material of awareness, it leaves home and it goes out like a cloud and it wraps itself around whatever we're aware of. And that one thing that helps is when we look at things to do what I call gentle looking, to look at things with gentle vision. And that way we're home. We're more present when we're looking. But the biggest impression in our life is our life. And we're almost always clutching it. And then the biggest impression in the foreground of our life is me. And we are so identified with that it's me and it's my life. And I am passing through this life and I need to figure it out. I need to resolve it. I need to make it a good life, a worthwhile life. And all of that is actually I. It's our imaginary picture of I. And the truth is that this life and this person, which is each of us going through this life, all of that is actually passing through consciousness. We think we are passing through our life, but our life is actually passing through consciousness. And so to look at our life gently, as Mihai said, we cannot, as long as we're in I, invested in it's me trying to resolve my life, we won't figure it out because we're in the problem. And the problem is trying to solve itself, and the problem likes that because that keeps the problem invested in the problem. And then we feel real. We feel like an individual with problems that need to be resolved. And so trying to look at our life and ourselves gently with an inner vision can be helpful. And it also relates to another thought I had, which is, isn't it interesting how much difficulty we have just living in the present? Just being present to our life as it passes through us, and to be awake enough just to respond to what comes up, to be responsible and respond. For example, for some reason, I have great resistance paying the bills. It's not that I don't have the money in the bank. It's just this strong resistance every time to go, and I do it online now, but to go and give all that money is very unpleasant. And it may be because there have been so many times in my life I didn't have much money. But there's this resistance. And so, but when I live in the present, if I'm more in the present, let's say, more conscious, then I can feel it's in my stomach, this resistance. Lack of wanting to give the money. And also it's sort of a lack of, I don't want to make the commitment to pay. Maybe you understand what I mean, but it's sort of, I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay. I don't want to give my money. And so I see that, and then I wait. I know that it will pass. And then I can almost tell when that energy goes down enough, now I can go do it. But I need to be conscious enough to then act. Go to the computer and pay the bills and feel so good afterward each time. That's what's funny, is I feel so good each time. Something feels good. And yet there was so much resistance. But I say this because back to the point of, we are so uncomfortable just being and waiting to see what the day presents or life presents. It doesn't mean we can't plan, of course, but we don't need to be thinking about 10 things that need to be done. That's all mind activity. That's the imaginary picture of myself. That's keeping me invested in me and putting pressure on myself instead of, okay, but let's see what needs to be done. The bill is due today. Pay that one. Or time to make lunch, or run an errand, or make a phone. What we have, it's so uncomfortable for some reason for our centers to just be or to just respond to what is happening instead of thinking, I'm in control, I can do this, and I might fail, because if I fail, then that shows I'm a bad person, or there's so many variations of that, yes? And some people are so much on top of their life, they do everything, get everything done, they seem so responsible. They are so afraid often and worried if they don't do that, how they will feel about me. And it's all I, it's all imaginary picture, it's all ego. And it seems right, but it's not consciousness. And I'll just finish with one other thought, which is Ouspensky said, in this regard, he said at one point, try to imagine yourself as a conscious being. Try to imagine in yourself that you are conscious. And then go through your day, or try it for half an hour, even 15 minutes. You are a conscious being for the next 15 minutes. How are you going to navigate the eyes going through your head? How are you going to navigate your feelings and sensations? How are you going to navigate the pressure coming to you from your relationship or your job? What would it mean to be conscious in those circumstances? What would you be doing in the moment without giving your consciousness away? How would you be manifesting? And it's actually a practical exercise. And the funny thing is, when we do that, we're actually very close to actually being conscious by engaging that point of view.